Could the Washington Commanders be in the market for a new star edge rusher? Today, I'm going to be talking about both Haason Reddick and Matthew Judon and why the Commanders could potentially go out and make a last-minute deal for a star edge rusher. And then also the Commanders made 2 roster moves, including bringing in Martavis Bryant. So we'll be breaking down that move at the end of today's show. But before we get into all the content today, help us pass our like total from last year's month of August. Last year, we got 2,415 likes for the entire month of August. And this year, just to show you guys how much we have grown this channel over the last year, we are almost already at that mark, and we're not even halfway through the month. So today, I want to pass our mark. I want to really show that this channel has really grown substantially here over the last year. So let's pass our former August record for likes right now by clicking that thumbs up icon to start today's show. So 2 star edge rushers are now available via trade. And let's go over these one at a time, because I believe that Hasaan Reddick and Matthew Judon could be moved by the start of the 2024 NFL season. And I do want to go over these guys one at a time, because obviously both of these guys are very productive edge rushers, and we know that the Commanders maybe don't have the best overall defensive end group in the National Football League right now. So let's start with Hasaan Reddick. Yesterday, Jordan Schultz came out, said Jets All-Pro pass rusher Hasaan Reddick, who is holding out, has informed the team he wants to be traded per multiple sources. Again, remember, Hasaan was traded from the Eagles to the Jets earlier this offseason, hasn't gotten a long-term extension done with the Jets as of yet, and now he has reportedly requested a trade. GM Joe Douglas of the Jets responded with this formal announcement, saying, "We have informed Hasaan that we will not trade him, that he is expected to be here with his teammates, and that he will continue to be fined per the collective bargaining agreement if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we have been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on the guys we have here as we prepare for the regular season." But here's the thing, Joe Douglas. I mean, if he's not going to show up, okay, and it really does seem like Hasaan is either going to play on a new contract or he's not going to be playing at all, this might force the New York Jets force their hand here to really get something going here in terms of a trade before the start of a season. And I do think that Hasaan Reddick is an intriguing fit to me when it comes to the Dan Quinn defense. And the reason why I say that is you look at the guys that Dan Quinn has had a lot of success with in his career. Vic Beasley, Micah Parsons, guys that are maybe kind of hybrid type edge rushers that can move all around the formation. They have experience playing both on the inside and at the outside linebacker positions, and it's very possible that Dan Quinn could look at a guy like Hasaan Reddick, who has been an all-pro pass rusher in this league, in a similar mold to what he had in Micah Parsons there in Dallas. And Micah was a big reason, obviously, why Quinn's defense in Dallas worked so well. You could move him all around the formation. You could put him out in coverage. He's just an athletic freak who's one of the best overall pass rushers in the National Football League, and he can use Hasaan Reddick in a very similar role to that. Again, Hasaan was a former inside linebacker, but then he converted to the edge rusher position there with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he turned into an all-pro, just like Micah Parsons did. Remember, Micah was an inside linebacker coming out of Penn State. Dan Quinn converts him to more of an outside linebacker type, more of an edge rusher, and all of a sudden, he's arguably the best defensive player in football today. Also, Hasaan Reddick is also a freak athlete that can really move all over the defensive formation, just like Micah Parsons can, so he can play that same role in this scheme. And then both Micah and Reddick are former All-Pro, so these are very similar profiles here. Micah's a little bit bigger. I'd say Hasaan might be a little bit more explosive off the jump in terms of his get-off, but I definitely think that Hasaan Reddick is the type of player that Dan Quinn could very much be intrigued by, especially if they can get him for the right price. And right now, Hasaan is maybe the least valuable former All-Pro edge rusher on the trade market right now because of all the shenanigans that he has been propagating here during this whole saga, during this offseason, trying to get that next contract. So his trade value is at an all-time low this offseason, and completely impossible for the Commanders to land him for, say, a 5th-round pick. Now, the Jets would certainly not love this deal because they traded a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Reddick, so this would be a terrible return on their investment. But if Reddick isn't going to show up and he's not going to play for them, then the rest of the teams in the National Football League know that they have the leverage, and I don't think the Jets are going to get back what they paid for Hasaan Reddick. So if I'm the Commanders, I would consider a 5th-round pick, probably nothing more than that. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade if you were GM Adam Peters for All-Pro edge rusher Hasaan Reddick? Give me an A if you'd accept it, or type D if you're going to decline it. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our friends at Prize Picks. But before I talk about Prize Picks, and while I'm talking about Prize Picks, go down there, find that pinned comment, and let me know if you would accept this trade. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks, which means you can turn $10 into $1,000. That is, if you know ball. And if you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every single week. From lowering select players' stat projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or even getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays, Prize Picks is always keeping things fresh and interesting to help enhance your daily fantasy sports experience. Today, I love using Prize Picks for Major League Baseball, so today I'm going to take the more on Shohei Ohtani total bases. I'm going to take the more on Alex Bregman total bases, when that is actually a demon promotion, so that's a harder to get promotion, but it pays out more. I'm going to take the less on Hunter Green strikeouts tonight. Okay, so that is my Prize Picks projection for the day. And if you're looking for, and if you want to download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS, you can get a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's a fantastic deal, guide. So again, that's code CLNS at Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. With Prize Picks, you can pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. Okay, now when it comes to Hasaan Reddick, there's definitely reasons to say no to trading for Reddick at all. Okay, and I think there's actually multiple reasons why people might be skeptical of wanting to trade for Hasaan Reddick. Number one, you're just not sure if Washington needs him, right? I think that this is a really good pass rush with or without him. You got 2 really good interior pass rushers here in Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. I think Dorrance Armstrong is fine. Cleveland Ferrell, I think, is more of a run defender in this scheme. And what the Commanders are really going to be trying to do is they're going to really be trying to generate pressure with putting a bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage, talking about the linebackers here, and then definitely blitzing these guys. Guys like Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Jamin Davis, all those guys are excellent blitzers and fantastic athletes. So if you bring in a guy like Hasaan Reddick, he's going to kind of fit more into that role. So I'm not exactly sure if the Commanders need to make a huge investment in an edge rusher like Hasaan Reddick at this point. Second reason not to accept this trade is, does Washington really want the trouble of getting a guy like Hasaan Reddick, who has made a lot of people in a lot of organizations' lives hell this offseason? Just talk to any Eagles fan. Talk to any Jets fan. This guy's created a bunch of problems for his respective organizations this offseason, and he's been a problem child. So do the Commanders really want to take the risk on bringing somebody like that into their organization? Perhaps not, but also maybe this is just a contract thing. You know, maybe if he gets paid what he wants and all this different stuff, he's going to be just fine. That's definitely a possibility as well. I don't really recall Hasaan Reddick having any big-time behavior issues or fighting with coaches or players or anything like that. So maybe it's just a thing that once he gets paid, he'll be perfectly fine, but it's definitely a risk that the Commanders need to take into account. Another reason why the Commanders might not consider this is that, is he really the right guy to pay up for, right? The Commanders have a lot of cap space right now, especially heading into future seasons, but do you really want to spend that money on an edge rusher here? Because, I mean, edge rushers are extremely expensive nowadays in the National Football Football League. Here are the highest paid edge rushers, and Reddick has said he wants to get paid in that top 5 range. So you'd have to pay probably upwards of $25 million per year, approaching $28 million per year on a guy like Hasaan Reddick. And personally, guys, if I am making the decisions and I am going to pay somebody $28+ million per year, I'd rather go out and get a really good weapon like Brandon Ayuk, who already has established chemistry with your new quarterback in Jaden Daniels. To me, that would be a better investment because you know what Ayuk's going to bring to the table in terms of the chemistry, in terms of what he does as a run blocker, in terms of the way he gets open. You know he's an all-pro caliber player. You know he's going to show up if you trade for him. So personally, if I'm going to make a big-time splash play in the trade market, I would rather go Ayuk than an edge rusher. But another option here, if they want to go edge rusher, but they don't want to go Haason Reddick, is that they could go get Matthew Judon. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported a couple days ago that multiple teams have inquired about trading for pass rusher Matthew Judon amid his contract stalemate with the Patriots, per sources. Judon is due $6.5 million in the final year of his deal. New England made a contract offer to Judon this summer, which Judon did not accept. Now, personally, guys, I would rather probably go get Hasaan Reddick than Matthew Judon if I am the Washington Commanders, because I'm just not sure if he fits what the Commanders are looking for right now, right? At least Reddick is at least relatively young, whereas Matthew Judon is definitely an aging player, and he'd be coming onto a rebuilding team here with the Washington Commanders. Now, maybe next offseason, if he becomes available, maybe the Commanders think about it, especially if they feel like they can compete heading into the 2025 season. But I think that right now the Commanders are focusing on getting younger players that can really be foundational pieces for the longevity of this franchise, and I'm not sure if Matthew Judon fits that bill at this point in his career. So coming up next year, I got my Commanders roster move breakdown here. They made 2 moves today, including signing a receiver, so we'll break down those moves here in just a second. But before I get into that, if you've made it to this far in the video, guys, you must be enjoying our content at least a little bit. We have free content here on this channel just about every single day. We have weekly live shows every single Thursday, and then also for every Commanders game day. Of course, it's all 100% free for you guys to enjoy, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button and join the over 17,000 Commanders fans already part of the Commanders Report family. Okay, so the roster moves that the Commanders made today, they signed Martavis Bryant, the wide receiver, and they cut Ramiz Ahmed, the kicker. So that means Riley Patterson now is the only kicker on the Commanders roster, and, you know, he hasn't been good, all right? Let's just be honest here. Neither kicker has really impressed in camp to this point, and I'm really starting to worry about this kicker situation in the nation's capital ever since Brandon McManus completely screwed this team with all the different stuff that has come out about him. I mean, this team went into scramble mode when it came to the kicker position, and right now it definitely seems like there's a crisis at this position for this football team heading into the year. I don't think Riley Patterson is the answer. I'm hoping that the Commanders can bring somebody else in, have some workouts, bring in a kicker that's more worth the salt of being a #1 kicker in the National Football League. But certainly seems like it's trending towards Riley Patterson being your kicker for the Washington Commanders this year. Now let's talk a little bit about Martavis Bryant here, because he is a former pro. He's a former starter in this league. He had a really good stretch of seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers to start his career, but he hasn't played a regular season game in the National Football League since 2018. So this is a long time coming for Martavis Bryant, and I do think that this is going to be an uphill battle for him. All right, he's a big guy. This is a wide receiver room that needs size, I guess, but I mean, he's somebody that's definitely an older wide receiver, and if you're an older wide receiver in this league, you know you have to provide value. So I'm not sure if I can see that value for him this year. I think he will probably end up getting cut, but hey man, I've been surprised before. Definitely rooting for Martavis here as he gets another shot at playing in the National Football League. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Martavis Bryant make the final roster for the Washington Commanders? Give me a yes or a no. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching today's show. If you made it to the end of today's show and you liked what you saw, again, I'll implore you to go ahead and click that subscribe button right now, because we have a bunch of great content coming your way. We got watch parties for every single Commanders game. It's an awesome community of Commanders fans here. So if you want a place to come get your Commanders news for the day, absolutely free, this is the place for you. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now.